Hello, welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Daily Live Extra. I am on my own today due to Baz having a birthday. So happy birthday to Baz. That's not the only reason he would normally be. He's not feeling too well. He wasn't feeling too well on Friday as well. So we wish him all the best. He will be here even though it's his birthday, which he shouldn't really, but Ned's off. John's on his way to London to watch Everton play Chelsea. So I'm on my own today. So I've stayed at home. I'm not braving the weather. It is absolutely terrible here in Liverpool at the moment. Hail and all kinds, wind. Even though it's April. So I just thought I'll just do it on my own. I'll do it on my own. I will rely on all of the viewers to get involved and keep the show ticking over as much as possible. Let me just say before we start, it is the 35th anniversary of the Hillsborough disaster today. So yeah, we send out all our best wishes and just want to make sure everyone who's still affected by it knows that we're thinking about them. And the people, not only the lost, but the people that are still around and obviously were affected by that day. It still affects this city hugely, and we should never stop talking about it because it's it's still something that we hear people sadly singing about. People still don't understand. People still haven't been brought to justice, and it's very, very important that we don't just let it go away and just say, "Oh well, that happened." So we remember all of those people today. Thank you. So all our thoughts and feelings go to all of the families involved. Yeah, big day. Chelsea away. Chelsea away today. Everton have got a huge couple of weeks coming up. Obviously, next week is absolutely massive. But today's a good opportunity. Tonight's a good opportunity after the results of the weekend. The two teams above us obviously got wins. But those two teams, Brentford and Palace, all they ever needed was a couple of wins, really, I think. And both of them got a win over the weekend. So we know it's Forest and we know it's Luton now, really. And we've got to ultimately match the points they get this season to keep us away from that, or stop it going to the last day of the season, or even Sheffield United if possible. Big news just in the last hour. Well, Julia Bold has exclusively reported that Everton have now put in the appeal. Obviously, for the 4-point deduction, they have now officially put in the appeal. So we'll have to see where that goes. And who knows if Everton can get another point or two back. That could be hugely important. The last, because if Forest get points back, got to remember that if Forest get points back, then it gets a little bit tight, doesn't it, for us and them? And we can't just rely or think that Luton Town won't get some points, and the fact that we've got to go there as well makes it even trickier. So we've got to make sure that we can try and do everything we can, and if that means getting a couple more points back, then yeah, let's do it. The club obviously probably won't feel like there's any more points that can be given to us. So let's go for it. But be interested to know your opinions, whether you think it should have just been left alone or whether it is a good idea to go for it. Danny on our Toffee TV Premier says, stuck in the Zach hospital shift Um, he can't spell, so he's in trouble already. He said he's been here for 2 days. How do people sleep? Had about 2 hours over 2 days. Should be out soon. Danny, what's going on? What are you in for Zach for? Let us know. We're all intrigued. We're all absolutely intrigued. Connor says strangely comfortable tonight for God knows what reason. Yeah. I don't think there's any issue. I don't think there's any point fearing tonight. We've went to Chelsea last year, drew 2-2 with them. They definitely leave themselves wide open for opportunities to score. It's obviously that's our biggest issue, isn't it? Putting the ball in the back of the net. Can we do it? But we'll definitely get opportunities. It's whether we can take them or not. They're all over the place at the back. So, bit of traffic news here. Heads up, anyone en route down M1 is closed. Junction 6 to Junction 8. So if you're on your way down and someone's got it on in the car or you're on the coach, make sure the driver knows. Make sure who's ever driving on the way down knows. Tom says he's cautiously optimistic. Yeah, I think a few will. I think a few, because it's the last game of the weekend and it's almost like you can go for it in a way. There's no pressure as such. Everton can't move anywhere and can't move down anywhere in the table, can't move up anywhere in the table. I don't think so. I think there is almost that feeling that we can go for it tonight with it being the last game of the weekend. Of course, we don't want anything. We wouldn't want anything stupid to happen, and I don't think it matters. The game plan's not going to change, but I think it can be strange sometimes. I think that there's a mentality shift sometimes of when the game is. When it's the first game the weekend, maybe the R12 kickoff on a Saturday, you feel like, well, once it's done, everybody knows what they can do. We're in that position right now. We know a win tonight. We know a win tonight would be absolutely huge, like huge, and would put us in an unbelievable position for the weekend against Forest. But no, I don't think anyone's expecting that, but that's not the worst thing in the world, that nobody's expecting that. So it'll be very, very interesting. Andy Hughes says, what do you think about the Chelsea hotel sale? Doesn't seem fair. I was listening to someone before talk about this, and he said this isn't allowed anywhere else. UEFA wouldn't allow it. The EFL wouldn't allow it. And it's crazy that the Premier League will allow it, to be honest. It shows how much of a farce the rules are, that you can basically sell a hotel back to yourself or to a side company. It makes a bit of a laughing stock of anyone who's questioned USM. And I know someone like Jamie Carragher has done that tonight. I wonder whether he'll mention that tonight on Monday Night Football. I wonder whether he'll mention the hotel situation. Because it is, these things are, when people talk about Everton, when people talk about us being cheats, this is what you're trying to get across to people is when you see stuff like this, what is considered cheating and what is not considered cheating. It's absolutely crazy. You know, Everton building a new stadium, and I know that's not the crux of why we are where we are. We know why we're here, and a lot of us, if not all of us, or pretty much all of us, you know, understand that the board and the ownership have been have put us in this position. But those little factors of USM and COVID and things like that, which we were obviously right up to the line, you know, and then those two factors have pushed us obviously over the line. And that's the way a lot of football clubs work. They work right up to the line because, in a way, why wouldn't you? It's when you drive on a motorway, you typically go right up to 70 miles an hour, and then some people go over it. But why wouldn't you go right up to the line? Because if that's what you're allowed, and you need to extrapolate everything you can, then why wouldn't you go right up to the line? But the problem is, if a factor comes out from somewhere that you're not expecting it, then that can push you over the line, and that's where obviously these PSR rules come into play. And we obviously had the rug pulled from underneath us, and we've tried to argue our case, obviously the stadium, and obviously, as I said, USM and such. But Chelsea can just go and sell a hotel to themselves. That just shows you that's, as I said, if anyone ever said Everton cheats, I've seen it over the weekends. Again, people, little education, people in the media who should know better, trying to claim Everton should be just why. I see there was an article over the weekend that said, why should Everton even have the right to appeal? They've broke the rules, but the rules are so opaque that does anyone actually know what the rules are as such? You go over, and then you can add things in to bring you down to what it is your PSR. It doesn't matter what your accounts are. We know that already. We know that it's not what you lose, because everybody loses money. There's barely any football clubs out there that don't lose money. It's your PSR figure, not your accounts figure. And sometimes that we all lose sight of that. But when it comes to a club being to sell something it owns back to itself, then, we've seen this for a while. We've seen this with, we saw this in the summer with clubs selling, or the fear of clubs selling or loaning players back to themselves from other countries. There's lots of talk that Chelsea have investment, and it's the same people who own Newcastle, so that shouldn't be allowed. And then people are buying Chelsea players from Saudi Arabia. That shouldn't be allowed. The Premier League has lost the grip on it, and in some ways, it's very, very difficult. The world's moving far too quickly for the Premier League, and it's allowed a lot of this to happen, or couldn't get control of a lot of this to happen, especially with clubs like Chelsea. And they've gone after a club like us, of course, and because, as we've said many a times, it suited what they wanted to do with the regulator. And Everton are big enough that it makes headlines, but not big enough that anyone actually cares. So they really do have to get these rules sorted out. But unfortunately, it might be too late. It could be too late. So, and certainly it's too late for us, because we've already, the horse has already bolted for that stuff. And Chelsea have actually passed it. They've passed PSR based on this, whereas we haven't. And of course, we've been punished for it twice, and puts us in this situation. Because let's be honest, if we weren't, then we'd be. Well, I mean, the first one, the 6 points, you can sort of say, well, yeah, that's from a couple of seasons ago, and that had to be dealt with. But the other one, even with those two, if we got those 2 points back, if we got, 4, it would make a massive difference just on the table, just a couple of points back. The Blues says lovely full moon. Look at the players they've got. They have spent 100 million on multiple windows, and they've got pacey, exciting dribbler. Everton don't have that. Okay, not sure what you're talking about there. Danny said he had an asthma attack. Thought I was dying. Staff absolutely brilliant. We'll get well soon, Danny. Terry said Bournemouth made £45 million profit last season. Well, they would do, because they came up from the Championship and they got a new owner. So they would do. They got a new owner, American owner, and they come up from the Championship. So they would definitely make a profit. But let's see how long that's sustainable whilst they're in the Premier League. But most clubs in the Premier League don't make a profit. Brighton did because they sold all their players. But most clubs don't. Most clubs don't make a profit. Because it's very hard to make a profit because football is very expensive. The PSR is what, as I said, is already slightly different. Stephen Lamb says, afternoon Ped, sat watching beside the pool, spoken to our Ned this morning. The lad has a bad chesty cough, maybe Baz has caught something from him. Looking forward to watching the game tonight. I do fancy a draw. Well, your son was told last week to basically go home and rest, but he didn't. He went to footy, didn't he? As always, and then said, I shouldn't have done that. So, yeah, and then he's been doing gigs over the weekend. That wouldn't have helped either, would it? So he needs to just stop thinking he can get away with it and just get on the couch and chill out and get over it. But no, Baz has got something a little bit different. Is something that needs to be dealt with in a different way. Bit more maybe of his age rather than just something that will come and go. Danny says, why would Bournemouth make a profit because of a new owner? Ped, capital investment isn't income. No, but they got promoted, didn't they? They got promoted back. I'm saying they got a new owner. They've got money put into them. They've come up for the championship. That's how they've make a pro. You get a new owner and make a profit because you'll be run better. That's how you make a profit. But I think they've made a profit because they've come up, and the extra revenue that they've got from the Premier League has put them in a position where they've made a profit. You know, a new owner, it's not about putting money in all the time. It's about actually running the business better. I think that's what people hope will happen with 777. I'm not advocating or for them or against them. I'm just saying that a lot of people hope that if 777 come in, and again, we don't know what's going on with 777. It looks like there may have been an extension given because we're hearing nothing about the MSP stuff. But you hope they just run the business better and get better deals. And I think Bournemouth were in a place where it was like, well, they've got a little stadium. There's not massive outcomes. They've come up from the Championship to the Premier League, and the revenues are much bigger, and they've cut the cloth accordingly. But that's what I'm saying, with a new owner, that's what you can sometimes get. It's not about throwing money in it. It's about running the business better. I think a lot of people forget about this when it comes to people being taken over. It's not always about them just flooding the place with cash. It's actually stopping cash going out the door. It's actually getting better sponsorship deals. It's about getting better naming rights for the stadium, for the training ground. It's about going on better tours abroad. It's all these things. It's not always about just flooding the thing with cash. You know, you never really... I know they're a difficult one to talk about, but it's with Man City, it's not a case of like their owners pushing millions and millions of pounds into the company now. It's about what they've done on the outside. And yes, a lot of their deals you could say could be looked at. But their sponsorships are huge. Look at the Etihad campus. Look at what they're doing with the ground. The kit deals they're getting. Success builds on success. Newcastle are trying to do the same now. Now a lot of people say, well, that's not. Is it right? Is it wrong? You know, because of these associated deals. It's about running the business better. I mean, Everton Football Club have just been run terribly, and that's why a lot of money's gone out the door. And that's the first thing Everton have got to do for any new owners. Is run it better, and that's what a lot of clubs or some clubs are starting to learn. Run your club better. But into that, what a fantastically calm and relaxing weekend. No Everton induced anxiety. Can we not play every Monday? But then your anxiety be on Monday. Some people might have been sitting there all weekend, but I'm waiting for this game and being all, having to watch other teams play. Baz in the Bath says, with regard to Chelsea hotel situation, are we not selling Goodison Park? That value could go on the book, surely. Well, we're not selling Goodison Park, are we? And this is something I've spoke to John about the value of Goodison Park being in a position where, could we get to a position where we'd have to sell Goodison Park instead of the what we're doing with it, and obviously it becoming a community hub. Now, John was of the opinion that there wouldn't be enough value in it. And this is sort of what we saw when we sold Belfield, is that we got a very quick hit financially, and it wasn't massive. It was only about 15 million quid. But, you know, somewhere like Goodison, what would you'd sell it to? What? A housing? It's not the most desirable area in the world to live, so the housing prices wouldn't be massive, so therefore the land wouldn't be huge. And would you really... I was thinking about this, actually, over the weekend. Would you really want to see Goodison Park sold for a quick buck? So I don't know, let's say we got 20 million quid for the land. I don't know even though it's worth that much. To us, it's worth, the sentimental value is, you know, obviously ridiculous. But if we sold it for 20 million quid and then houses went up on it, and then suddenly 5-10 years you're looking at Goodison thinking, why did we do that? Why did we sell it for a very, very quick buck? And now there's no legacy of Goodison Park for the legacy of 100 years of a ground being there and all those memories, and all there is a housing estate. There's nothing that signifies that Everton Football Club played there, bar memories that will fade. Maybe a plaque or something. For me, I just think we can get away with, or we should be able to get away with, not having to do that, and it gets built into what it is. It still holds the memories, it retains the memories of Everton, our memories, and it gives back something to the community. Because I just don't think the value's there. I just don't think the value is there. Now, yeah, so it will have community things. It will have the essence of what Goodison Park is, and as I said, I just don't think for that quick hit that it's worth it. But we'll see. Just have a little refresh. Loads of happy birthdays for Baz. Hopefully he'll see all these and can read them. Benny says, a Grapehead, keep Goodison. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to, at this stage, it's going to change hands or anything, I would think. I think it will continue to be what it's going to be. And of course, we won't see any of that till Everton leave, and then they start breaking up Goodison Park, and that'll be another. I mean, a lot of people we're leaving Goodison Park. I think when actually people see Goodison Park being broken up, that'll be a big moment for a lot of people. Emma says, remember when you was convinced Ned Cole Palmer was Carlton Palmer's son? Do you know what? I sort of remember that, but yeah, it does make total sense that would have happened. Absolutely. Someone just asked me whether I got a PB in my 10k run yesterday. I didn't. I missed my PB by like 45 seconds. Two factors. The hill in the tunnel was one factor, and also the time of day. Starting to run at 9:30 in the morning is not my best time of day to run. I generally run around tea time, when my body is fully awake and has had some food in the day and has taken that food. So 9:30 with nothing in me but energy gel isn't the greatest time of day for me, but did all right. 56 and 1 second isn't terrible for me. I'd like to have got under 56. I'd like to have been in the 55s, because my PB is 55.16, I think it is, or 14. But it was nice enough. Met loads of blues. And it makes it a little bit of a longer day. The day's long when you get up that early and go for a run, and your day is all off in front of you. Then you can just like do what you need to do for the rest of the day. Yeah. So big game tonight. As I said, going back before, I think we can get something tonight. It'll be interesting to see what happens with who plays up front. Whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin is rested, obviously. Sean Dyche said on Thursday, didn't he, when the press conference went, which is awfully early for a press conference. He said he had a little bit of a hamstring issue and he was managing it, which is fair enough. That's what he's got to do. And we'll wait and see what happens tonight. If there's any kind of issue, I would leave him on the bench tonight. I'd leave him on the bench and let him deal with it and get over it, because if he does it, then he's out for a week, then he misses 3 Premier League games next week. So just look after him, start Beto, and make sure that he doesn't get caught out by it. Learn from the mistakes of the past. That's all you can do, really, isn't it? That's all you can do. And I think they'll do that. Dom knows his own body. He knows when he can play and when he can't play, when he can push and when he can't push. But Brandon says, wasn't as far down the pack as I was expecting to see from the bridge above the tunnel. What are you saying, Brandon? I can actually run, you know. I am an alright runner. And I did the half marathon, a month ago as well. So, I'm not a bad runner as it goes. I'm not necessarily got a great running shape, but height-wise I have, but just could do with losing like another stone just to be a bit more optimal in my running ability. The correlation between speed and weight is huge, absolutely huge. The thinner you are, of course, the less weight you're carrying, the less stress on your body. Then that would be nice. But yeah, but it was nice to see you cheering me on, mate. I'm sure you were cheering everyone on. Let's have a look on the comments. Decore is in poor form at the moment. I would go Schmitty and I'd go with Beto. That's from John. Why Schmitty though? I mean, genuinely, why Schmitty? Because what's he actually done? Is he another one of those players that has got better by not playing? You do see this a lot. I don't think Schmitty really is ready to start a game of football for Everton in the Premier League. I don't see it. He's a classic case of a player who has got better by not playing. So there's no chance that he would be anywhere near my starting lineup. You can get him off the bench more, and maybe that's one of the things of the season is that he hasn't come off the bench more, and therefore hasn't developed. And you could say the same about Dobbin. You could even say the same about Dan Juma, not developing as much for Everton because, oh come on, he fouls people and gets stuck in. I know you're messing about there, mate. But I think the likes of Schmidt, Dobbin, less so than Juma because he's already, played in the Premier League. But I think they needed more game time over the season. And therefore, we'd be getting more out of them. Dobbin is got an injury, and I don't really expect him to come back this season. But I do think if the manager had used more subs and stuff over the season, we'd be seeing more, maybe a little bit more out of Schmidt, and obviously a lot more out of Dan Juma. But he hasn't. Hence says, do you do park run? No. Park run starts at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. You have got no chance of seeing me at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. No chance. I'm a night owl. So everyone knows this. I'm a night owl. And nothing will ever break me out of that, ever. I don't get tired at night. I really don't get tired. So then and then what happens is, said this before, I don't get tired at night. And then if I have to get up the next day early, I don't go to bed the next day early. I just go to bed at the same time and then sleep longer. I am so abnormal. It's unbelievable. Or I'll be on the couch and I'll go and I'll literally sleep for 2 minutes and then I can't get back to sleep for hours. I have a weird internal body clock that is so messed up. So no, unless it's a race day and I've got to get up for something, then no. James says, my first day back running is twisted my ankle badly 2 months ago. Seeing you do a 10k yesterday, and I've struggled with three today, got me a bit down, but go again tomorrow. Don't want to rush back in to damage my ankle again. Well done, Ped, on yesterday's drive through the tunnel quite often, and it's deceiving how big the hill is. Yeah, very deceiving. Very, very, very deceiving. To be honest, I run 10k basically every other day anyway. It's not a 10k. I do like 3 10ks a week. It's not a, but obviously we're doing it, the tunnel was like, it felt like I was running up a steep wall. Luckily it was quite early in the run. There was a bad one on the half marathon. In the half marathon there was a terrible hill early on. And all you can do is, what I do is I look at my heart rate, and if my heart rate gets too high, I have to just slow down then. Your heart rate's obviously your biggest indicator of how hard you're pushing yourself. And if you're pushing yourself too hard, you have to come down. No matter if you've got chasing times and all the rest of it. If your heart rate gets silly, you have to come down and you have to just chill out. And even after you've done the hill, I have to just plod till I get my heart rate where I want it. And then I can get back into the groove there. So yeah, Graham says, but those tunnels are deceiving. They are very deceiving. But also, yeah, take your time, James. Don't rush back. Don't look at any. If you ever want to run or anything, don't ever look at other people, what they're doing. You're only racing against yourself unless you're in a proper race. But when you're running, when you go for a run, you're only racing against yourself. You're only racing against your own times. Never look at anyone else. You never know where anyone else is in their development or how they've trained. It can be agonising looking at people going and they get, 45-minute 10Ks or under 2 hours for a half marathon. Just do what you can to get yourself there, but never go, I've got to sprint or I've got to hurt. No, you'll just hurt yourself. It's your body. You can never push it harder than it needs to be pushed unless, you train properly. So keep going, mate. Graham says, congratulations to you on your run yesterday, Ped, and congratulations to Bad on his birthday. Hope he's feeling better soon. Bye, cheers. his birthday with my younger sister. Nice one, Graham. Brandon says, just expected at least half of the actual people signing up for the race to be ahead, and you were only about 3 minutes behind the two leaders after a good 4K of it. Was only really there because it's a stone's throw from my house, and you mentioned on the Chelsea preview. Nice one, Brandon. I started quite high up in the run. I could have been right near the back, but I went close to the front. I hated the idea of being near the back and being slower than everyone else, and therefore looking like I was miles off. So I got myself quite close to the front. But I was nowhere, I'm sure after that the people who were proper runners would have just, time-wise, would have gone away from me. I know my brother-in-law's a really good runner, and he finished it in like 45 minutes. But he was actually doing a half marathon and had started in his house, ran to the start line, waited a little bit, and then ran the rest. So he actually did a half marathon. So the fact that he did it in 45 minutes and it was the back end of a half marathon, you can't like mess with that. Yeah, the hill on Upper Parliament is the one I was talking about on the half marathon. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. Sorry, Kevs. People are asking me questions about running. I've got to mix it up. I'm on my own. I can only answer the questions that I'm given. Give me some good questions to get into then, and we can start talking about them. People are asking questions. People want to know. People want to know. Brandon wants to walk through the tunnel as part of to Goodison every home game. Yeah, but it'd take ages. They do now and again open the tunnel for people to walk through, I think. Now and again. Lynn says she's gutted time zone from the other side of the globe. It will be 3:30 when the game kicks off. Oh, sorry to hear that, Lynn, but you'll watch. Because you are as stupid as the rest of us, so you'll be there watching on like the rest of us. Dozer says, anyone actually warming up to the idea, actually wanting us to move for Jack Harrison on a permanent? Not for me personally. Think the money they want we could get miles better. No, I don't think there's that many people who probably do want Jack Harrison, if I'm honest. And I'm not being audible when I say that, but the fact that we'd have to pay a few quid for him, I think you're right. I think we could get better, miles better. So no, I don't think there's lots and lots of lots of things for us to have him. So no. I don't think people are clamouring, and we've had players in the past where have been on loan where there has been lots of clamour for him. John says my heart rate is about 2,000 going to the fridge. My BP is 97 over 120. It seems that this is the rate needed to keep pace with the modern life. You got to watch that heart rate. Very important. Yes, Delhi is on Monday Night Football tonight, which will be quite interesting. Be quite interesting to hear him speak about his time at Everton. And is he anywhere near it? Anywhere near getting back to fitness for the last few games, which would mean that Everton wouldn't have to pay Spurs if he did obviously take part in those games, but he doesn't sound like he's anywhere near it. Go says, you sign up for the Race for Life yet, mate? No, I'm not really interested in those ones. I also find that Race for Life a bit, it's a bit, I think the idea of signing into one race and all the money going to one place is a bit like weird, but there's been issues with that. They've been brought up in the past about where the money goes and stuff. AEFC says that killing up a Parliament Street during the half marathon and the big puddle in Oxfield Park. That's a nightmare, both of them. The hill was horrendous. The puddle, I got round. I just walked round it. But it was a nightmare because anything that stops you running in a rhythm is horrible. Absolutely horrible. Jonathan says being off work with chest pains, BP is 200, 700, 155. Shocking. Bloody hell, mate. Bloody hell. We've turned into the running health football channel. David says I'm not a fast runner at all. I ran 7 miles yesterday. Took me over 2 hours. A lot of stop-starts. That's great though, mate. You went for a run. You did 7 miles. Good luck to you. Next time you do it, you'll do it in less than 2 hours. And the next time after that, you'll do it in less time at all. You don't have to run fast. But the thing is, if you run long distances, you're supposed to run them really, really slow. Really slow. That's the whole point. Yeah, M says it's Everton giving us all high blood pressure. Hey, there might be a correlation between that. And also the running I find is brilliant for going, sticking a podcast on or whatever and just completely switching off from Everton. It's a great, not a football podcast. It's a great, absolutely brilliant place to just switch off from Everton. Sean says, I'll be honest, I'm fat and the thought of running gives me heart palpitations. John says, I keep up my heart rate going with my own body weight in Corona and whiskey. There you go. AEFC says, how many points do we think we need from our final 7 games to stay up? I reckon 7, as it'll mean Luton would need 10 from their last 5 games. What are we 2 points ahead of? Are we 2 points ahead of Luton? Are we? Is that what it is? We just have to match. Well, we don't. We need to try and be a few ahead, don't we? Obviously, of Luton going into the obviously the last game. Luton are on 25. We're on 27, of course. So if we could get to, if they get 30, if they win 3, it'd be a miracle, wouldn't it? If they win 3. So let's just say they get 34. Then we'd need 8 points. Two wins, 2 draws. You'd obviously want more than that. Yeah. 3 wins. That seems unlikely, but 2 wins, 2 draws, maybe. Get a draw tonight. Matt says, do you think it's probably likely that any money generated from the sales of summer is unlikely to be invested? The Gordon money wasn't, and it's looking like we are in trouble again. I'm trying to prep for little in the window already. I think it would be like last season, won't it? Where we have to be very, very clever with our deals. I think we already know that Onana is going to be likely to be sold. And we just have to be clever with that, whatever money we've got. You know, it's going to be very difficult again next season. But we just have to be very, very clever. You know, we're going to lose Jack Harrison, Dan Juma. Then there's a lot of players who are available on free transfers to leave. Then we've got probably Onana leaving. You're probably looking at replacing 6 players straight off the bat. Literally straight away, 6 players. There's going to have to be a lot of clever accounting for that. So we are definitely going to sell one of our players this summer. I mean, there's just no way around that. No way around that at all. It is going to be very difficult. We're just going to have to be clever. So, and we won't know. We won't know really, will we? Till we know where we are and what we've got to work with. Abigail says, "No, I don't want Jack. He's not worth what they want. He's not really that good. There are better out there. There are probably better. There are better out there. It's whether we can get them. That's one of the major issues, is whether we can get them." And if it gets really bad, then we might have to sell Branthwaite. I don't think we will sell Branthwaite, but if it gets bad, we might have to sell. Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be coming into his last year, so we're going to have to make a massive decision on him. So that's another one. In his last year, if he doesn't sign a new contract, you're going to have to sell him. It's as simple as that. No ifs, buts or maybes. You're in your last year of contract now. You do not leave. You do not leave for free the following summer, because there's far too many leave on free transfers. You know, we're going to lose another one in Andre Gomes this summer. So again, another big summer, and we'll see what happens. That's the mad thing. There's players we've got that obviously other clubs want, but they're mixed in with poor players. I think what any manager could try and build at Everton is a mixture of good players, a few good players. And again, it's that sort of David Moyes way of doing things that we had when he was the manager, which is you have a good 3-4 players, couple of them are really good, and the rest are really steady. And I think in a way that's what Sean Dyche is trying to achieve, but there's not enough players because the squad's not big enough and we don't score enough goals. But let's be honest, if we hadn't had a point deduction, we'd be none of us would be worrying, would be whatsoever, about getting relegated. We'd be 8 points better off. We'd be absolutely fine right now. So it's a weird one. You have to just get that mix right, and if you can get that mix right, you can do well. Gary Wood says, "Have you finished watching Fallout?" I haven't, mate. I'm only on the second episode. I'm taking my time with it. I am taking my time. I like what I've seen so far, and I'm just taking my time. I didn't play the games. I'm aware of the games, but I never played the games. So there's a lot of it which, you know, there's a lot of Easter eggs and all that kind of thing. But I like the fact that I don't know what's going on in terms of the bigger picture. I know it's not a game story, but so I'm just taking my time with it. I might watch another episode this afternoon. But so far I've been really impressed by it. It's been really good. Really enjoying it. Tom says, "You reckon the Oasis Bramley-Moore comment was real?" No, mate, I don't think it was. It was something to do with he was getting into Liam Gallagher was getting into a bit of stuff with Liverpool fans yesterday, wasn't he? So no, I don't think it is real. More likely to be Paul McCartney, mate, than anyone else. Paul McCartney gig should open Bramley-Moore. That should be the opener. A week. Imagine Paul McCartney did a week of gigs at Bramley-Moore. Be unbelievable. Everybody would get a ticket, and it would just be an incredible week for Liverpool at our new stadium. It would be absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. James says the woman was fuming about it being released in one go. Yeah, I don't like shows being released in one go. I prefer if it's when they are released in one go, then I'll watch them. But I I prefer having that week in between. Like, I'm loving Shogun, and I'm loving the fact that there's a week between the episodes, so I can digest it. Because I think what happens is when shows come out all at once and you binge them, you're watching them for the sake of watching them. Get on to the next one, and you don't digest the episodes. And I like doing the podcasts, and I like watching the shows where you listen to them and tells you all about it and all that stuff. I love all that. Anita says Paul McCartney can't sing anymore. Yes, he can. Listen, I went to see Paul McCartney in 2018, and he was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, he's a man in his 80s, so can he sing like he used to sing? No. Is he amazing? Yes. Utterly amazing. If you don't want to go and see him, fine, I'll go. One less person who wants to see him, that's great for me. He is absolutely... You're talking about the greatest living musician on the planet. So, all this that he can't... I'm not being funny. Cherish these people, because when they're gone, they are gone. The amount of people who would love to have seen Prince and would love to have seen Michael Jackson, and it's why Madonna's smashing it at the moment, or like Fleetwood Mac were when they did their Elton John, because you'll never get to see these people ever again, and that's massively important. Massively important. I'm not being funny. I'm always checking Paul McCartney's socials and his website to see where he's gigging. Mate, I couldn't care less what you thought of him at Glastonbury. I thought his set at Glastonbury was unbelievable. He's a man. He's a man who is in old age, and he did about 30 songs at Glastonbury, and you think he's gonna his voice is gonna be unbelievable. Mate, just appreciate. People should just appreciate these people. Just sit and watch and appreciate what you're watching. They're not in their 20s or the 30s or even the 40s where you can just do it night after night after night and there's no effect on them. These people are incredible, and you should just all enjoy them, and you should just go just for being in their presence, because you'll never get that opportunity again, ever. Talking about ABBA having holograms and everyone going, this is the most amazing thing ever, blah blah blah, but they're not there, because what they've done is gone, we can't do this night after night, so we're just going to do one show which we put out, and it's going to be an amazing spectacle, and this is what other people might do in the future. But I'm telling you now, honestly, if you've got a chance to see someone you love, doesn't matter who they are, you should go. I want to see the Foo Fighters in the summer. Now, I've never seen the Foo Fighters before. Now, but it won't be like the proper Foo Fight. Well, it will, but the drummer's not there anymore, is he? Taylor Hawkins. So you're not getting the proper one. If Fleetwood Mac decided to go on tour again, there'd be two members down. One obviously died and Lindsey Buckingham left. So unless Lindsey Buckingham came back, so you wouldn't get the proper thing. Stevie Nicks is going on tour this summer, sold out. I think my sister's going to see her in London. Because people are who knows if these people will ever tour again. Honestly, if you get a chance to see someone, Oasis, I've been to see them 4 times, right? Dead lucky. 4 times I've been to see them. They might never ever tour ever again. They might never get together and tour again ever again. I've been to see them 4 times. So if you get the chance, you'd go. Honestly. Jack says, Ped, do you think it's mad that people think fans can only be from the cities of their clubs? For me, fans are more passionate from other cities or towns, like Everton away fans are more passionate. No, mate, I mean, listen, I started doing podcasts with Eric, and Eric is born and bred in America. Obviously lives in Kansas. So I was a big advocate of fans from abroad, and always will. I know there's a debate at the moment, and I was listening to the Sports Agents last week podcast, and they were talking about it. It was to do with season tickets and how Spurs are trying to get rid of, obviously, you're saying the concessions, because it's taking money out of them. And a lot of people saying clubs are trying to get rid of the local fan bases because there's more money coming from abroad. What I would say is, and there's definitely two ways you're looking at this, is fans come in from abroad and they're amazing. Whether they're on their own or whether they come in tours. They're amazing. They love it. They're really excited. They're really passionate. It's like going to Disneyland. I really love going to Disneyland. You get there and you're so excited and you'll buy anything, and if you see something you want it because you're only there that day or whatever. And football clubs know that. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he was saying, you know, the club shop did really, really well last home game the day before because a lot of Everton fans from abroad were over here. So they went in and they all bought gear, and there's obviously stuff that's on discount and all that. So that's really, really, really important. Especially because maybe a lot of them don't trust the fact that they can only buy it online and stuff like that. So the problem is, this is the problem. It's almost like they've created this situation where it's local fans versus overseas fans. But I don't look at it like that. I see it as that we're all Evertonians. But you still have to have that crux. You still have to have that hardcore following who are from the city, based in the city, based around the city, season ticket holders who go week in and week out. Because that's your hardcore. That's the people who go all the time, whether it be home and away. They're the people who follow you. They're the people who create the atmosphere. They're the people who create the community. They're the people who understand. They're the people who make it really welcoming for people who come from elsewhere. And as I said, that doesn't mean that they're all from the city, because you get a lot of people who come on coaches every week, whether it be come up from Wales, come up from Cheshire, come up from other parts of the country. I think there's one that comes from Leeds, London, Bristol way. And they're coming for every game. They're still season ticket holders. So you need that hardcore of people who go week in and week out. And that should never be, taken away. So more tickets can be given, to me anyway, can be given for people, not even people from overseas as such, just almost like, you see it with other clubs. We don't really have a problem with this, but you see it with other clubs. I know Liverpool, there's a major problem, and Spurs, we know there's a problem. Clubs are looking at, and this is obviously a conversation, a bigger debate, easily a bigger debate on this. And there's a bigger debate to be had on all ticket. And me and John spoke about this on Friday. And I have my opinions on what should happen with Bramley Moore, and they won't be the same with Legend Wellens, and that's fine. But a lot of clubs are seeing their fan base, season tickets being like cut back or concessions being lost, because there's a big market emerging over abroad, and fans are coming in, and like day trippers and all that kind of thing. But you've got to have your hardcore. You've got to have your hardcore following that goes week in and week out. You've got to have people who put their money down every year, spend their money every year. Excuse me, have a drink. People who spend their money every single week and will go the game no matter what. You've got to have that. Now, if that leaves room for other people to come in, then brilliant. Certainly Everton will always put tickets aside for people to come from overseas. The different fan groups from America, from Ireland, from Norway, different Scandinavian Toffees, Australian, no matter where it is, Everton will always put tickets aside from them. Always. I don't think we're a club that really has to worry about the idea of day trippers as such. As in, when I say day trippers, I'm not talking about Evertonians. I'm talking about the idea of fans coming to watch your club who aren't even Evertonians, which I think is something that does happen at other clubs where people just rock up and want to go to the game and they're not even that arsed, but they'll pay whatever it takes to see even if it's just one player. I remember when Ronaldo played for Man United at Goodison, and I seen like Ronaldo fans in the Gladys Street who'd come to see him. We're seeing in America at the moment with Messi, aren't we? I think there was 72,000 at Kansas on Saturday, and they moved the game from Sporting Park to Arrowhead Park, where the NFL team was based, and they filled it, and there was thousands there just to see Messi, and he scored, and they won 3-2, and the ticket prices all went up for fans who normally go. We're seeing the emergence, aren't we, of footballers over clubs, superstars, and people want to watch them. I've done that myself. You go somewhere and you go, I want to go and see the team. So I think I went to like Paris Saint-Germain to watch them. I mean, this was before they were really good. I've never seen them live while they've had the money. But people go there, and there's tickets available, they'll go. It's a very hard. I don't think it's a massive issue for our football club right now, but it could become one in the future maybe. But we'll see. Martin says, what's your view on half and half scarves? I'm seeing more and more at the game. I think they're complete embarrassments unless you're a 6-year-old. This plays a part in that, doesn't it? So for Premier League games, I'm just like, nah. I've got some from European games, and they're just souvenirs that are hanging up in the studio now. Just basically to say I was at that game. Now again, with this tourism culture of football now, more and more people will buy those scarves. I've seen loads in Liverpool yesterday. I was walking through the city centre, loads of Liverpool fans, and they were everywhere, half and half scarves. Now they might have been people who would just been to that one game. They might be people who go every game and get a scarf for every game. Going the game isn't a big occasion for me. It just isn't. It's just part of my normal life. But for some people, it's a massive occasion in their lives. People go, as I said, might go to Disneyland, or they might go to theatre, or they might go to see a concert, and they want the programme, or they want some kind of souvenir, just to show that they were there. And I think that plays a big part in it as well. And it's something that maybe Everton don't massively capitalise on. That idea of, well, I was at that game. I was there. I know if you go outside, you can buy, they have, obviously you can buy a programme, but they have the badges that will signify that one particular game. And maybe next season, with it being the last game of Goodison, this will be something that a lot of people pick up on, is wanting something from each game, some kind of souvenir to say they were there. The last game of Goodison Park, I'm sure whatever souvenirs there are, whether there's a scarf, whether there's a kit, whether there's badges, people will want something to signify the chair. So people will want something to signify they were at that game, they were at that last game, even though there'll be photographic evidence and all the rest of it. I know one of the things I want from the last game of the season is a picture of all the people I go to the game with, all together, one last time, in the Gladys Street. That'll be something I'll want, and I'll frame that. That'll be something that I'll keep forever. But other people will want those scarves or whatever it is. You know, that's what it is. It's just become a problem with the football clubs, because I think what the problem is for a lot of fans look at it is, as like Man United, Liverpool are obviously looking at it thinking I don't know whether they are tourists or whether they're real fans or whatever. I don't know. I'm not going to say. But fans who are from Liverpool are seeing tickets being taken away from them, given to people who then just go the match and are not adding, they feel, adding anything to the game. And you're there to support your club. You're not there to have a day out. I mean, that's only the way I look at it. It's not, going the match isn't a day out. You're there to support your team. And you're there to go through the emotions of the team. It ain't a day out for me. But I know for a lot of people it is a day out. And that's the problem. That's where the two things don't align. Football clubs know they're having a day out, so can get them to spend all kinds of money. Whether it's in the club shop or whether it's corporate. They're on a day out. They might go to Anfield, Old Trafford, the Etihad, Emirates once a season. Stamford Bridge. So they will spend a lot of money in that once a day. The same ways that if I went to Disneyland, it would be the same. That's what I'd do, and they know that. Whereas if I go to the match, I buy a coffee or 2 coffees, and that's all they get out of me. And that is the ultimate problem with football right now. But without the fans who go week in, week out, who generate the noise, generate the atmosphere, understand the traditions, football as we know it just wouldn't exist. It just wouldn't. You wouldn't have the atmospheres in the ground. If Liverpool had 60,000 tourists in the ground, the atmosphere would not be the same. It wouldn't be anywhere near the same. It would be people just sitting on their phones taking pictures for the entire game. So that's the problem you've got. Would Liverpool love 60,000 in there, just all with a carrier bag from the shop? Well, if it starts affecting what's happening on the pitch, then yes, they would. And that's the problem football has right now. It really has an issue knowing how to balance that. So, as I said, that's the problems. I don't think we have that problem. I really don't. I don't think that's our problem. I don't think we have those kind of fans. We have fans who come to Goodison who fully understand, I believe, what going the match means. I think they fully understand. When we have people who come in from abroad, they're here for a good time. Outside the ground, inside the ground, but they don't sit there and treat it like it's a day out. They get it. They get it, because as I said, I don't think we have those kind of fans who come to the game and just sit there and want to take photos, or that. I think we have, and I'm sure those other clubs do as well. I don't think we're at the stage where we have people turning up to see James Garner play or anything else. So I don't think it's a real issue for us at the moment. As I said, the club will always keep those tickets back. So, yeah. Mark, I'm sorry, but why did you think the game was a 3? It's Monday. That's a bit weird. Robbo says our biggest issue is fans who believed the lies told by the incompetent board, chairman and CEO for years, and were called other Blues copites for calling them out. Can't argue with you there, mate. Can't argue with you there at all. Yeah, so it's a problem football's going to have to face in the next few years, is getting that balance right. And unfortunately for other clubs, are finding it difficult to get that balance. I don't think we'll have that issue. I really don't. Rob says I've seen Oasis 11 times. I saw them in Belfast in 1994 on the night. Definitely maybe went to number one. The ticket was £6.75. Happy days, amazing, mate. I went to see them last. Was it? I can't remember when I went to see them last, but I went to a gig. I went to see them in 2000, and I think the ticket was £30, and it was at Bolton's Stadium, and it was £30. And I went on the Saturday and the Sunday. Unbelievable. There you go. Abigail says if I could afford to go and see Debbie Harry and Annie Lennox. Well, that's it now. Gigs, my God, the price of gigs now are ridiculous, aren't they? Absolutely ridiculous. That's the problem, and Dasbix just nailed it there. Concerts are so expensive because the price of records are so cheap. Well, not records. The price of music is so cheap now that people aren't making any money from music sales, so they have to get it in one way, and that is live performances. And that's why going to see someone, and that's it, because that's the thing, isn't it? You get again, it's that thing of you go and see them, and it's really, really expensive, and you buy, people will buy all kinds, and that's where they make the money. Abigail says, what Apple series or documentary would you suggest I watch? Slow Horses, Abigail. It's fantastic show. Absolutely excellent show. I'm sure lots of people would agree with me there. Benny says not just the ticket for the gig, food and drink is astronomical. It is. We're getting ripped off. I seen someone say yesterday, we're not going through a cost of living crisis, we're going through a cost of greed crisis, and they are absolutely right. We are being ripped off every single way we can be, because only a small selection of people own everything now. So we are being ripped off in every possible way. Our food, when anyone goes to town for a drink now, it's £7 a pint everywhere, because it's everywhere. They've got you. There's a monopoly everywhere. Ticket prices for gigs. There's only so many gigs. There's only so many seats. Football, again. There's only so. It's all. It's. They could charge you £50 if they wanted to, but they don't. And now they've got this new thing with the, what's it called, the gig economy thing, where what's it called, dynamic pricing, where it's a bit like when you try and get a ticket for a plane. The more people who want to go and see something, the prices go up. Not everyone's doing it, of course. Some people are just having flat fees, and that's the price. But other people are like, well, the interest in the gig is pushing the price up. The more people want to go, the higher the price of the ticket, which is a disgrace, to be honest. But if two people are arguing over a ticket, why not sell it to the person who's willing to offer more money for it? And we're just being ripped off all the time now, and there's no way out. There doesn't seem to be any way out. And all it'll lead to is a bigger gap once again. A bigger gap on the haves and the have-nots. And it won't be a case of people saying, oh, did you get a ticket? Oh, no, I couldn't get through, or I missed out. It'll be, no, I couldn't get a ticket because I wasn't willing to pay the £300 they wanted. David, you're absolutely right. Sometimes it is cheaper to fly somewhere else to see. If there's someone I want to see, I always check to see what the ticket prices are like elsewhere. Why pay £250 for a ticket when you could go to somewhere like Paris or Amsterdam or Berlin and pay £250 for a couple of days abroad and go and see them there? And it's becoming more and more and more, isn't it? Becoming more and more apparent. certainly in our country, the UK, we're just ripped off. And we're getting ripped off even more now because of Brexit. Rob says I want to see Status Quo next month in Belfast. It's my 60th time seeing them since 1978. Yeah. Condolences. Rob says I buy records and CDs. Pair them definitely aren't cheap. Some new release on vinyl, 20 to 50. No, I know, mate. My missus is bang into the vinyl. Mate. She buys loads. I'm not that arsed. I'm not massively into music. I don't even listen to it when I go for a run. I listen to podcasts. Who's that? NFC says, notice your EU flag on Twitter, Pedder. I am 100%, mate. 100% European. 100%. Worst thing this country ever did was coming out the EU. Well, and all the Tories that we have seem to keep voting in. 100%, mate. 100%. There you go. I think we've come off football a little bit, but you know. Benny, I'm not going to answer that question. All I would say is the price of houses is because of greed. The price of everything is because of greed. When people blame other things, it's because they want a distraction. The price of everything is because of greed. It's because there's no reason why houses now cost an extortionate amount of money compared to what they used to cost. It is all because of greed. Something should be worth the value of what it is, not the value of what you're willing to pay for it. And that's just simply greed. A house, a car, a holiday should be priced for what it's worth, not what someone is willing to pay for it. That is literally called greed. So there shouldn't be any excuse. The price of a ticket should be the price of a ticket, not what the price you're willing to pay for it. As I said, it's just greed. And that's where we are right now. Anyway, I've done well over an hour, and I have spoke about many different things. Many different things. Lots of people are telling me who they're going to see in concert, and all kinds of other things. So we've covered probably more other things than we have actual football. So make sure you check out my match preview with John, starting 11 show. It's going to be a tough game. I honestly think we can get something out of it. Be interesting to see who plays up front. So, Jeff, we talk about everything here because I'm on my own, mate, and I like talking about different things because Everton talk for an hour would just be dead boring. And we should talk about poverty. We should talk about everything, mate, because if we didn't, then we're just ignoring things that are really important. Really, really important. And people should have a place they feel like they can have a chat. We're all like-minded Evertonians. We should be able to have a chat about anything. Anything. And I'm not being funny. If you're trying to use Everton to get away from other stuff, then my God, mate. Here you go. Tom says 2-1 to the Blues tonight. Up the effing Toffees. Is right, Tom. Is right. Dodge just took my nephew on the Everton tour. 35 to 40 people there. 50 minutes early. No tea or coffee. Bottles of water or coke being sold. The shutters of the bar were down. We're not run properly. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. RC's Everton Survivors Group. Yeah, absolutely. Lynn says, thanks for the wonderful session. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for being here. Hey, Everton can win tonight. Let's believe Everton can win tonight. Let's absolutely believe that. Let's believe it all. No, listen, we should be able to talk about everything just because it's a football channel, but we're all Evertonians, and we should be able to talk about everything that connects us all. And I think if you're talking about football, you have to talk about tickets. If you're talking about tickets, you have to talk about the price of tickets. If you're talking about the price of tickets, and you have to talk about why they're so high, it's all one thing, isn't it? People can't afford to go to the game, and other people can't afford to go to the game. So you'd have to talk about all of it. Do you know what I mean? It's why are ticket prices so high for other people, or people are worried about what if they can afford a ticket or not. You know, there are reasons, and we have to talk about the reasons. We can't shy away from them. Tom's going to see Taylor Swift in Sweden. The 2 tickets and the whole trip is the same as for the price of a ticket in the UK. It's right, mate. Favourite topping on a pizza? I don't mind pizza pineapple, but it's not my favourite. But I don't mind pineapple. Favourite topping, like a mighty meat or something. Eugene says, I think Everton will beat Chelsea 4-1 away. Beto hat-trick. Okay, mate, and Decore, fair play to you. I like that belief. Pete says, I want to see a performance inspired by how Villa and Palace put in, so why not us? Fair play. Nothing wrong with ham and pineapple, Teddy. Fair play, Tom, again. Just nothing wrong. If you like it, you like it. That's fair play. Nomad says 2-1 Everton, Harrison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Tom says chicken, bacon, barbecue. That is a tremendous pizza, has to be said. Stan Smith says, alright mate, took me lad to see Ed Sheeran, the Etihad, paid £800 for tickets on the pitch. When we got the tickets, got took off us as through a third party and told to purchase tickets at the kiosk. Bought tickets at the kiosk, I think they were £70 each. Got a full refund of third party and a £300 credit. Fans of everything get bent over full time now, mate. It'll never change. So did Ed Sheeran give you the refund? Because if he did, absolutely fair play to him. Absolute fair play. Graham says you were absolutely right on everything, Peg. Great chat. Hope we get the win tonight, 2-0 to Everton. Thank you, Graham, for that. 1-1, Sophie says. She believes we'll get 4 points from the next 2 games. TL says, hi, Ped, tuning in from Perth, Australia. Won't be watching as I have to get up for work, but I think 2-1 win tonight. Dominic Calvert-Lewin doubled. There's a lot of optimism going about. I like it. I think we've generated this optimism from all the talk. Teddy says he's all over a Hawaiian pizza. LR says Everton signed duo from Arsenal. Couple of young players. Nice. No, but it is really important though. It's really important that people do talk about these things of like, we have to make sure we get hold of this game. We have to make sure the game becomes it's still a game for working class people, whatever that means anymore. Do you know what I mean? We've got to make sure that the fans don't get priced out of football. TL, also, Ped, I follow you on Strava. Nice one. Nice one, mate. Do I follow you? No, we have to make sure that we don't get priced out. I always say it, people make politics, football, it's all intertwined, because ultimately what's in your pay packet dictates whether you can go to the game or not. And the price of a ticket, obviously, dictates whether you can go to the game. And we have to make sure that all of us can afford to go. Whether that's someone who comes from abroad and can afford to... I will, mate. I will follow you. I try and follow everyone in there. I don't really think there should be a hierarchy for runners. It said, Todd, all right, I'll make sure I follow you, mate. We have to make sure that everyone can afford to go to games, whether they're coming from abroad or from Liverpool or from Wirral or from wherever. The number one thing should be whether every person hard-working person should be able to afford to go to the game. It shouldn't be a game where it's for the rich or whatever, or should be a special treat. It should be a game that we can all go to every single week. Jeff says it's funny. I mean, can't speak. Venice in a hotel eating pizza. By the way, I got a cheap return from Cork, €50 It's not too expensive over here. Brilliant, Jeff. They don't have pineapple on pizza. Italian pizza, proper Italian pizza, is not like the pizza we eat here. We eat American pizza. Italian pizza, oof, unbelievable. Tom says, what do you reckon will be the average cost of a season ticket? Probably more. I reckon the average cost will be £750. Kevin says, I love the channel. You and Baz are opposite, and that's what makes it work. I like that you say it is and agree to all my problems going on over poverty and struggling. Keep it up, mate. Thanks, mate. Tom says he thinks the average price will be £800. Arcia says, can't go tonight, so I'm going to dust off the dodgy Skybox. Is right, mate. Because that's another thing, isn't it? Ticket prices for away games. We got them down to £30, and it's made, obviously, I'm not going to go into the politics of away games. I have my opinions, and I will actually say them in one moment. Let me just say this. But it's really important the £30 cap isn't taken away so people can go to games. In fact, I think there should be a cap on home tickets. I think home tickets shouldn't be any more expensive than £40, to be honest. Tom, thank you, the Forest fan. Thank you, mate. I don't think there should be any more than £40. We should try and get a cap. We should certainly not lose the away cap. Whatever anyone tries to do, we shouldn't lose the away cap, because it's massively important that people can go to away games. The price that they pay to get to away games and the hardships. Everton fans tonight, they won't get a train coming back, so they'll have to be on the coach or in cars or whatever. You're not going to be able to get a train back. It's a disgrace. Monday Night Football should be binned. It's a farce. So the fact that a ticket needs to be... Because at the end of the day, football clubs are making a fortune. Getting a couple of extra quid off ticket prices is irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. It should be £30 home and away. Let's be honest. That's what it should be. Get you into the ground. Start spending your money in the ground. That's what they should be trying to do. But let me just have my say on the away ticket situation at Everton. I might upset people. I couldn't care less. I'll be honest when I say this, is that the situation with the Everton away tickets is, at the moment, it needs to be changed, because people are buying tickets for games and they're not going to them, and then they're selling them on, and they keeping the credits. That has to change. That fundamental thing has to change. If you're not going to a game, you should not be getting the credit for it. You should not. If you buy a ticket and you find out you can't go to the game, then you should. The only thing you should be able to do is sell that ticket back to the club, and then they sell it on. People are getting their credits and they're keeping the credits, and other people can't build their credits up. And it shouldn't be this thing of, oh, well, there's plenty of games where you can get your credits. No one should be buying tickets and keeping the credits. It goes on everywhere, and it shouldn't be happening. And that has to stop. Now, I don't know how they can do that at the moment. Maybe in the future with digital tickets, that's something that can change that. But if people are missing out on games that have been going to loads of games because someone else is selling their ticket to somebody else, that's not on at all. It's absolutely not on at all. Nobody should be buying tickets and then selling them for credits. It's not on. It's not fair. I don't care how many games you've been to. If you're not going to games, then you shouldn't be getting a credit. And that has to change. The football club have to change that and make it fairer on everybody. Not fairer for people who don't go to away games. Fairer for people who do go to away games and are missing out on some games that they can't get to because of that. Hash says, what about people who go on the coach, have done for years, but get through the coach, not through their own credits? It all has to change. I'm sorry, it all has to change. It does. It's not fair. The system is not fair. It's not fair. There's a hierarchy at the moment, and it has to change. if you've been going through the I thought that had changed anyway. I thought you needed your own tickets now on coaches. I thought that was different now. But it has to change. I'm sorry, it does. Because we've seen it in the last few weeks. We've seen it. People who go away games will continue to go away games. There's no issue with that. Absolutely none. They will continue to get tickets. And it won't be a massive change. But this idea that people can go to away games and can buy tickets and sell them has to stop. It has to. Because otherwise what will happen is people will just draw the line and go, we'll just have a ballot or something. We'll just do a ballot system. So that's my opinion. And I don't think that's an unfair opinion, by the way. I don't think that's an unfair opinion. Away support will continue to go to nearly all the games. And then the next person who's on the who hasn't got whatever credit you needed for that game will be the next person. And it's a fairer system. And people who go week in and week out won't miss out on tickets. And the people who don't go away every week will build up their tickets maybe quicker if the tickets are going back to the club. So that to me is the fairest system possible. Maybe everyone won't like that, but that's just the way. That's the truth. That is the truth. Right, gonna finish in a minute. Graham says years ago I wanted to fly out of Heathrow and not Gatwick to the US, but Heathrow ticket was $350. One-way ticket out of Gatwick to US was $99 one way. So I went to Gatwick, glad I did, as I was flying over Land's End, and Heathrow flight went over Lockerbie, and we know what happened to that flight. Jesus Christ, Graham. Jesus, that is a story. I didn't even know that till I was reading it, and when I got to the end of it, I was like, wow. Wow, that's a sliding doors moment, isn't it? That is an absolute sliding doors. Wow. Blue Cali says I've been to a lot of away games, but not being able to build my points up, as you say. Exactly. It's not fair. Absolutely not fair. David says there isn't a monopoly on away tickets. The same people go all the time, which is fine, but how do you introduce new fans or fans who don't go week in and week out but want an away matchday experience? Exactly. What I'm saying doesn't say anyone can have them. Let's just make the system fairer. Simple as that. Fairer for everyone who goes. Hesh says end up with a load of tourist fans who pick and choose what away games and use a lot of the core fans who've been going for years. No, you don't. That's not correct at all. You don't. You absolutely don't. You're more likely to get that if tickets keep doing what they're doing. You're more likely. I'm not saying that you don't have credits. What I'm saying is, if you don't go to a game and you're buying a ticket and you've got no intention of going that game, then you don't get the credit. It's as simple as that. Absolutely simple as that. We're not saying start from scratch. I am not saying start from scratch. I'm saying keep it as it is. But bring a system in so you can't buy tickets just to sell that ticket on to have the credit. Simple as that. People won't just be able to go to any away game. I am not saying that. You still need a hierarchy. You still need your core. And those people will still go. But if you're buying a ticket, you better be going to that game. Dead simple. Dead simple. That is, and it's a fairer system for everybody. Because what I read about Bournemouth was people who go home and away missed out on tickets for that game because they didn't have enough credits. But other people went because they were sold the tickets by people who bought for credits. So Tom says the main thing is people who have a season ticket for over the last 20 years have absolutely no chance of getting an away ticket. People need to stop holding the points Kev says I go to the home games but hardly ever go to aways, as it just don't just buying the tickets off individuals. That's it, mate, isn't it? When that's the other side of it, it's created a system where people are buying tickets and probably people are selling tickets and they haven't got tickets to sell and people are being ripped off. If we had a system where that couldn't happen, again, no one would get ripped off for tickets. Dan says, hey, Ped Solo, it's 29 degrees here in Spain. Brilliant, Dan. Happy days. Happy days. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Right, I'm going to have one little refresh and then I am going. Right, I'm going to go. I'm going to be back at 5 o'clock on Toffee TV Premier. If you're not a member of Toffee TV Premier, why aren't you a member? It costs like a price of a coffee for the month and you'll get another live show at 5 o'clock. Basically every day you get a live show and other exclusive videos. So why wouldn't you? There you go. Thank you to everyone. Tom says it's windy as F here in Heighton. It's windy here as well. Oh, it's going to be sunny now. Yes, I can take the dog out for a walk now. Happy days. There you go. Thank you to everyone for joining me. Hopefully Baz is back tomorrow. Hopefully. He'll only be back for a couple of days and then he goes on holiday. So, good luck to everyone travelling down there today and hopefully we get something. And I'll catch you after the game. But hopefully I'll catch you at 5 o'clock because you'll have all have joined Toffee TV Premier. Nice one. See you all later.